So individual players na team no o come nyina boom na team get the best out of them then there's a huge problem. Per the sign on your Chelsea standard. Few Madio ke munya Chelsea standard. Asimbi na to Chelsea.
Dear Lut.
And baby or find yourself now some of these signings they have to do. But I think there were some 2 signings be the pressure about team super, especially Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. For the said amount of money Chelsea go for mobile. And you could see say those 2 players and expectations will be different because of the amount of money they got on mobile. But I think say for quite some games now, it may be crying na Enzo Caicedo
yeah.
So there were a lot of complaints. They said, I don't know, man in country, I don't know about country issues, baby. But I think the last few games, Maresca Mebo Nabaso say he has been able to find a way for Mumi, to fit together in a setup where things are working for them. And I think it deals with the change of role, especially for Enzo Fernandez. And the setup where the fullback will always invert to become the second pivot. Edema Chelsea, if free Enzo Fernandez, mane ko any more. Mane timi yan yoma bebe. But omumi no na semne dan che no. E wo bre bia club bia take you off said you take this discussion. And I think sir this moment in time will be very important in Chelsea's history. Nyoma mienu. Either say they cannot grow from this. And I say they will become much more better after this. Because I believe the solid foundation of winning culture and mentality has been set with the Conference League. No credit the Conference League, the Kenya Chelsea standard. But the reality, actually, say, I want Chelsea Gina say. Tina de Biameka same way say there are facts and there are realities. The fact is Chelsea standard Champions League. Expectations around Chelsea was low. But the reality is, baby, almost find you almost self. Any team they rebuild my year for quite some time, almost level in the Conference League, That is the reality. But reality, no so now to me, they improve yourself. They are setting the tone to become much more better and return to your standard. It's the Conference League now, Chelsea, Me to me, idea. Trophy ni GNA said that new because the reality of Chelsea baby or mother. But the man adi way ya one say it could be the catalyst. Say a bit to me the Chelsea could do a different level with project now told Bully Abefa team now or day. And I make say the take-off point for Chelsea and Roman Abramovich. Near the Carabao Cup. Jose Mourinho Bayern or the Beji. What we here Chelsea 2002-2003 under Claudio Ranieri. That team was solid. Omo the kind of signings ni bi kura Jose Mourinho be didi ho no be in 2002-2003 Frank Lampard mu nyina ba before ansana Jose Mourinho be fa team no but fancy share sa results no mu nyae no na photo to after so mo je the Carabao Cup ne be league ni Chelsea we na chi biem. So it is always important to realize the moment you find yourself in winning a certain trophy. Me de bia meka se Manchester United there omodi trophies no omoje ne kwa se bi adwemi anta akiri say a high take off point the omoni manga no so magi season yan trophyless. But how to move from that stage to a different level is what matters. Jurgen Klopp buy be Europa League final me boa obori enu no say there be we have a take off point we need to move to the different level and obeje Carabao. So there were points omo move the call. So anytime you win a trophy where factually it is not your standard, but in reality you are supposed to be there. And also you know, so particular moment, done every single thing around your project, around the mentality, around everything. Fancy, this is where Chelsea finds themselves. On my side, one, consistency. Two, the quality of players you add to the team. Baby, I'm working on players ni be on ma after 2 or 3 second season you also muje be kwai madueke money some boys ni be on mo form nko omunko tonton omo no munko fa players be experience 1 or 2 3 be some from befra but they actually say on timi mo Chelsea ni bi When you want to move to a different level, there are certain players you need to sacrifice. Omar Barreda Kasemi said, "Oh, your team may do maybe a first 2 seasons, you know. Who to certain stage, there are some players beyond you have to allow them to leave. And also John Mokwan because value you know. Then you bring in an experienced quality. Your players become when you're young, but they have so much experience. Because Chelsea team now here and run fancy. If they are going to move to the different stage, they need a proper center forward. Se Lavia no more na in this situation name Wakudana. They could literally sell him and bring in another midfielder.
I don't think I'm more far. Andre Santos eba.
Andre Santos mukrapo.
Andre Santos eba na that sporting guy no more foul ni Giovanni Quenda no. Amugu.
And the center back role no. Amu here another.
Mario Hiller of Lazio.
Oh, they need I'm a goalkeeping. Because Guardiola on member City team ni so ni omo transfers. Oba 17-18 no. Okofa when buy Claudio Bravo me boa. Oba na say Claudio Bravo no. After 1 season or 2 seasons them one no. But betu jo hatu. Ojomi enu nyina kwa na okofa this in them. Ene kura me no ka say say this in club e dey.
Yeah.
Level now Chelsea are moving on. Now they've absorbed the reality. They will need to come out of the reality and face their standard. If they are to face their standard, the core of the team in Chelsea are building. Aka basani na kakrebi because core they oye there Enzo ni baby akọ. Oye there Caicedo ni baby akọ. Oye there Nicolas Jackson ni baby akọ. Oye there Kopama ni baby akọ. Pedro Neto mu no wo so mo bench players. Yemfa Madueke kemu nkopre. Nicolas Jackson is better off even coming from the wings. Get a solid striker, center back, and you'll be good to go. And I think, sir, how they'll move on from this stage in a better say, Todd Bowley muy ambitious and also muy ambitious. Because fancy, baby a project in a Bruno. And you can say Chelsea should look back again. They will need to carry on and move further up the table.
And may I feel the Champions League qualification a day transfer no like Newman said
that is it
because someone qualified there come sign the same
strategy but now the platform na set it platform na set it da ho and ade ba kwa na Enzo Maresca tai complain pound when the press conference here said team ne to be a mentality the winning mentality in the winning environment or no kika even including getting leaders in the dressing room. And my Chelsea players need to be cry sorry can say, oh, that who leaders for dressing room now. But this is the moment they will need to carry on. Congratulations to Chelsea. And I think say Todd Bowley, baby I would do say no. The ambitions in this baby. I feel so also me who so ye. Because Roman Abramovich take you off no I he played Champions League final upon final. He won the Champions League. He won the league 2 times. 1-2 Sabeji League in this atwa so be third, esa the Antonio Conte Sabeji League or GG League in away from Chelsea. Shadie, me who say Manchester City a room into the market per Ryan Sheki. Omo per Ryan Sheki. Na Ryan Sheki sika semne ne ho no Ubeka say Manchester City it fits so well say ombetimi akwakofan. Already City are speaking to Tijani Renders. You close to say Manchester City betimi for Tijani Renders. But fancy the issue here say Guardiola is this the biggest rebuild that obey of Manchester City ana? Because I think after 2017-2018 this is the biggest rebuild I see Pep Guardiola doing at Manchester City. But I think he's also touching certain positions new mo did be say I say or yeah you ni biem sa won achiwo. Because me check Manchester City at one now. Edison, likely so be free Manchester City. City will need a replacement. After Benjamin Mendy, City replacing Benjamin Mendy with any left back. Josko Vardiol or a centre back, left-footed centre back. I know Timibo as a left back. I'm a City here. I know I used to most of the time. Nathan Ake, a left centre back. Now I'm a City here. You see no a left back. Then no about share Ruben Diaz the aging and the performances. After Laporte, I'm more players video maba. Kusanov buy Kusanov share them a lot of games. And from Manchester City, yes, the future is there. Age no on the side. Obetima be red team anytime. But you are playing in an unforgiving league. And City didn't want to a certain standard be as see no obi and City as underdogs. See now the tag be bowa expectations become different. And I say why don't want to twap that bomo baby so fancy. E to be a first ya na wo ya na wontimi nya biem. E be a first wotimi kwotena awo ho no agya betie 2. No agye kuruma kakra busu meko e be ane ama ne bi di atoso. But say no umu abeye do to a certain extent say nipa ni mu ama wontimi kwogye abetie ne say obegye kura na agye osoma. Na osoma e di abetie na bre ofie no wabetete adi. So when City are, they need to build from the back to the front. Already, Kyle Walker is moving out of the system. Fancy, young share what City went throughout the season. Nian discussing who said the kind of signing City are picking. I idea bet me push your 10 because when you're about how I feel about Guardiola or how I feel about City's dominance, but it's about the reality of the situation City finds themselves in. City lose league by November. So Shadrack Betimama a graph no depicting when City lost the league. Any more chances of winning the league now. Uba will say by November na City lose league no or lose league in the cry. Fast forward. O check in Manchester City in terms of players are Pep Guardiola signing. Now her graph ni dia. You understand said the last time Guardiola tore a lot of players fancy was back in 2017 and 2018 season. And only can signing 9 players for an average or score spending here 278 million pounds. The next one near 2024-2025, 8 players already 209 million pounds. The ATM makers City might be doing one of their biggest rebuilds in the year because 17-18 no was a City shisha. That was the time Guardiola befa team man and Yabrese was a league in your man ultimate Jimeboa. But why is it that 2024-2025 comes second? Because this is also another moment where City will need to rebuild.
A bit me a change 17-18.
A bit me a change 17-18 the anokra. And as see as player value kosoro. And this is 17-18 no. So 17-18 na City top player 10 million pounds and Ebeko 15 million pounds. Okay. Fancy. City used 30 solid players this season. Different. This is so unlike of Manchester City and Guardiola. It didn't come up also a small squad, or a small squad, or a small squad. But fancy, what are their problems? Not fancy. Shadrack said, okay, very good. Had the number of players are using this season. 30 solid players as compared to 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22. About how many players now know you? Here how we shooting here. From 23, 24, at the core, 30. Different players. You bet me a blame on 2 things. 1, an aging squad. 2, out of form players. Any players you are signing, I be an young Jagule, she say no in TB. Phil Foden, we pra no akwaba form nini ho. But the biggest problems of Manchester City na me fancy, and I'm pese me di Se Shadrack bet me there 2 screen so amaya. The problems of Manchester City and where they rank this season. Actually say, Omoto Randes, Omoto Ransheki, Omoto whoever they want to buy in the midfield no. Omo center back ni omo full back row because ana Kyle Walker. Fancy. Na bibia City here. No quiet day cover. Goals conceded 4th in the league. 44. Expected goals conceded 7th in the league, 48.48. She backward passes in the Premier League.
Central defense, what they say no, they Victor Hayes, ne Kusanov Ebaye.
I'm not moving to buy and fa. Say far they no more.
Season a City struggle.
What you say? And fa so I no more. Then there is goals conceded, never duels lost. City are losing on all 4 fronts from the first phase of their build-up to the last phase. And even more defend there, the number of passes they allow opponents to play before answer no ma press no e down. Guardiola adwuma ne so.
Rodra Bantibia.
Guardiola adwuma ne so.
Okay amomo.
Adwuma ne so.
Wo Mate, Mesa, Mike.